हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Namaste friends. Welcome to session 37 of the series Gift, Gita for Inner Freedom and Transformation. We are studying the Bhagavad Gita, drawing from Swami Paramarthanandaji's talks and the Shankara Bhashyam for deeper insights. The Prathama Shatkam of the Gita dealt with Jiva Swarupa, Jiva Prayatna, and Karma Yoga. We are now in the Madhyama Shatkam of the Gita, which deals with Ishvara Swarupa, Ishvara Prasada, and Upasana Yoga. Particularly, we are now studying the 7th chapter titled Gnana Vijnana Yoga, where Lord Krishna has revealed his complete nature to Arjuna and also explained the problem of samsara and given its remedy too. I now invite our dear teacher, Dr. Timappa Hegde sir, to introduce today's class and take the session forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Panaga. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Pariyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. As we come to the end of the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, I would like to bring your attention to some of the most important verses which we should remember always. Verse 3 talks about us. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschin mam deti tatvataha. It is extremely rare to find someone who is striving to know God fully. Shri Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu. Among the thousands of people, kaschit, a rare person, some one person. Yatati siddhaye. Yatati means one who puts effort. Siddhaye means towards the fulfillment in life, towards liberation, enlightenment. Api also, yatatam siddhanam. Among all those people, 1 in 1,000 who strive, and even 1 in 1,000 of them, kaschit, maybe someone, mam veti, who is able to know me, tatvataha, in reality, who knows me truly. So God is something of the infinite. So our whole understanding is to be able to recognize what is that infinite principle fully. So as introduced by Panagar, the entire Madhyama Shatkam is geared to what is called Tat-pada Vichara. The first Shatkam spoke about our own nature, Tvam-pada Vichara. And before we go to Asi Padartha Vichara, that is Tattvamasi. So the Madhyama Shatkam will talk about Ishvara Swarupa. What is the nature of God? Ishvara Anugraha. How do I get the blessings of the Lord? And third is, what is that sadhana? What is that kind of upasanas that I can do to get Ishvara Anugraha and also to get to know Ishvara Swarupa? Shri Krishna makes an offering right in the beginning of this chapter, verse 1. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Maya Saktam Mana Partha Yogam Yunjam Madashraya Asamsham Samagram Mam Yata Jnanashasi Tat Shrunu. So Shri Krishna says, he tells Arjuna how to worship him. He does not tell him how to worship him. That is not the objective of this Bhagavad Gita. But how to know him? To know him, tat shrunu, please listen. Yata, how? Mam jnashasi, how you will know me samagram, completely. For that, you have to have three qualities. Asakta mana, yogam yunjam madashraya. My asakta mana, that means with your mind focused on me. Yogam yunjam, that means with the practice of meditation, in addition with the attitude of madashraya, of being able to completely surrender to the Lord, then asamshayam, without any doubt, mam nyashyasi, you will come to know me samagram. You will come to know me completely. What a nice introduction, Shri Krishna. So there was no question by Arjuna. Shri Krishna himself offers. If you have some of these qualifications, I will introduce myself. What aspect about me? Shri Krishna says, Jnanam te aham sa vijnanam idam vakshyam asheshatah. Yajnatva neha bhuyo anyad jnatvam avashishyate. So these words mean the following. Aham jnanam vakshyami. I shall impart to you knowledge about the Saguna Ishvara. Ishvara with form, along with Sa Vijnanam, which is more difficult to understand Ishvara without form. How? Asheshataha, thoroughly, completely. And what is the benefit of this knowledge? He says by gaining this knowledge, there is nothing more worth knowing. As told in the Mundaka Upanishad, this was a brilliant question by Shaunaka, who says, Kasmin Bhagavo Vijnate Sarvam Idam Vijnatam Bhavati. Oh Bhagavan, please tell me that, knowing which everything that is worth knowing becomes known. Why is this question so important? Because the nature of the Lord is difficult to know. We should know God is something called immanent and transcendental. These are two terms Swamiji tries to explain. And if you have to learn to understand something of the infinite, that which is limitless, for example, space. Now, space is outside me, space is inside me, space permeates in and through me, and yet it is apart from me. So that is the beauty of the God principle, that God is in and through, and yet of a higher order of reality other than my body. So the God principle, or the infinite nature of God, is something that has no limitations in time. It has been there from the beginning. If there is a beginning, it will be there till the very end. It has no limitations in space. That means it is sarvatra. It is all pervading, and it is not limited to any object. Now, if God or the God principle is everywhere, it must be here also. It must be in front of me. It must be behind me. It must be in me. And if it is in me, I have an ordinary aspect and I have an extraordinary aspect. Now, all our training and Advaita Vedanta is, why do you want to identify with the limited Upadhi aspect? Why not identify with that consciousness principle, that existence principle, which is the divine principle, which is the God principle? Now, to come to this level of Arupa, or the infinite Lord, Krishna takes us through three levels to be able to understand Sri Krishna with form, that is Ekarupa, to be able to see Sri Krishna as the entire world, multiple forms, or Aneka Rupa, before our mind is tuned to understand the Arupa, the formless form of God. To understand God, we have to come down to creation, and that is why the whole topic comes of Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa is just like before you make a roof, you make a scaffolding. Now, before, if a person has a wound, then you use cotton thread and you stitch that wound. 7 days later, when the wound is healed, you take out that stitch. That is called apavada. So initially, we have to introduce something so that the person will be able to come to this understanding of Arupa Ishwar. Now, there is where the Abhyaropa comes to be able to understand this whole world is that Ishvara is the cause of the world. Ishvara, we don't see Ishvara as the creator. Why we don't see Ishvara as the creator? We believe in science that nothing can be created and nothing can be destroyed. Everything has always been there as it is. So Ishvara is the cause, means Ishvara himself has become the world. If God has to create the world, with what does he create? With himself. If I have to create a dream world with so many objects, then how do I create that dream world? With my own thoughts. Everything in the dream world is nothing but my own thoughts. So too, this whole world is nothing other than God. This is a favorite story of mine told by Swami Anubhavanandaji, when one artist made a freshly made murti of Lord Ganesha. He appreciates it, but he says, where is the mouse? Then he did not have a prepared amount of clay. So with the raw clay from Ganesha, he took some of it from the abdominal area and made a mouse of it. Now, if God has to create the world, how does he create? He creates out of himself. So whatever I see around, whatever I feel, whatever I experience with my sense organs, including my own body, is Pratyaksha Ishvara. Is Pratyaksha means something directly that I can cognize. And this brings us to the appreciation of a divinization process or a reverence to everything and anything around me, or Vishwarupa Ishvara. The beauty of this chapter is you have words like this. Mattaha parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. A verse worth meditating on. If sometimes you're doing nothing, you are by yourself, let this Gita verse 7.7 come into my mind. Go on repeating. First, just the word. Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. My sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. I pervade everything in an imperceptible manner, just like the thread which holds all the strings together. Mattaha parataram na anyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. O Arjuna, na kinchit asti, there is nothing anyat apart from me. That means God alone is parataram. Beyond mattaha, beyond me, there is nothing. So everything is God and God alone. My sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. Now reflect on these words. There is space in this room. Now, is it space in the room or is room in the space? You can see it both ways. God is in the universe or is the universe in God? You remember when Yashoda was seeing Sri Krishna as a child form, she could see God in the world. But when he was eating mud and she asked him to open his mouth, what did she see? She saw the whole universe in God. So too, the dream world is in you, or is the dream world you? The dream world is nothing other than you. So too, this whole world is nothing other than Ishvara. What are the sadhana that we do? The first time you drink water or any time you drink water, remember this word, Raso Hamapsu Kaunteya. Kaunteya means each one of us, you can put your own name. And Sri Krishna is saying, the essence of the water, I will explain in the next verse. Aham. I am the essence of the water. I am the Prabha. I am the light in the sun and the moon. That means anything and everything I can see around is because there is light. And that light is Sri Krishna. Pranava. You hear some sound, even traffic sound, but let every sound be Omkara. Pranava, Shabda, all the Vedas are, the best among all the Vedas is Omkara, in the form of sound. And if I have strength in me, if there is some energy in me, and that energy in me is the Sri Krishna principle. Now the seventh chapter asks this question. So clearly, Sri Krishna has said, Mattaha Parataramai Sarvamidam Prottam and all that. God is everywhere, God is everything. I'm sitting on the Lord, I'm feeling, I'm breathing. But then, do we really see God? Why is it so? Even though I am swimming, I am, pervaded by godliness, I am not able to see God, I'm not able to appreciate God. Only in an occasional satsang, I get this vision. Otherwise, normally, I don't see godliness all the time. And the answer given is Maya. Maya has got two Shaktis. One is it blocks my vision, it prevents me from seeing godliness, and then it gives me a wrong projection. It makes me see something other than godliness. Because of Maya, I'm not able to see this world as God. In fact, I see this world as world. So what do? Guru Shastra Upadesha, Shri Dakshina Murti. When you come to a Guru, the Guru will explain this to you and he will tell you one thing. Remember, always keep your right foot on remembrance. I should not forget this even for a moment. Every time you get angry, upset, every time you feel sad, every time you feel low, that means your mind has taken you over. You have been overwhelmed by Maya Shakti. Shri Krishna gives you the answer. He says, my Maya, Mama Maya Durattaya. It is so powerful. It is very difficult to transcend with our own strength of intellect. And that is why even we are not even aware that we have been deluded. Even if once you know that we are being deluded, we can have some form of defenses. But Shri Krishna says, you surrender to me. It is my job. I will take you across this Bhavasagara. For that, we become bhaktas. And he says again in this chapter, beautiful 16th verse, Chaturvida bhajanti mam jana sukritino arjuna artho jignasi artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. Finally, this verse is a goalpost verse. In fact, 17, 18, 19 are some of the most beautiful verses of the entire Bhagavad Gita and some things to be remembered. Now, this verse is talking like we began with Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Among the thousands of people, a rare one comes for Brahma Vidya. Among those thousands, a rare one is able to go all the way out to what? To become Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Now, Shri Krishna is talking about us in the first verse, 1 in a 1000, and he's talking about us in this verse also. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. After so many births, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante. A person becomes, one attains to me. He becomes a Jnani. Artha Artharthi Jignasu Jnani, the fourth one. And he declares Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Now meditate on this word. What is this Vasudeva Sarvamiti? Samatma, such a person is a great person. He's not an ordinary Atma, he's a Mahatma. Sadurlabha, it is very difficult to find. Can we be those Vasudeva? Again, let me go into a little deeper meaning. I will focus on the word Vasudeva. Vasate means that which exists. Deva means that which is conscious. So, who is Vasudeva? In Advaita Vedanta, I am Vasudeva. I have no hesitations in being able to claim. Whenever you tell Swamiji, I am, he's happy. But the moment you say, I am a doctor, I am this, that, you have suddenly fallen down from Vasudeva to something else. The word Vasudeva means I am. Why are you saying I am as Vasudeva? Who can say I? Only a conscious person can say I. So Deva means consciousness. Vasate means existent. What is our true nature? I am. I am conscious. I am existent. The moment you identify with anything else, we become limited. But our true nature is Vasudeva. And when you understand the nature of Ishvara, who is all pervading. And when you understand the nature of my own self, which is other than my body mind, which is also of the nature of I am, this is Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. One or two verses I have forgotten to touch on. These are celebration verses. These are from this verses from the Mundaka Upanishad. Once this understanding has dawned, then how do you look at this world? Purusha eva idam vishwam. This whole world is none other than Purusha. It is another way of saying Vishwarupa Ishvara. Now, your world is different from my world because my karma and my tapaha are different. But essentially, what is it? Is Param Vritam. It is Parabrahma, Paramatma himself. Purusha eva idam vishwam. This whole world, including my body and everything, Vasudeva Sarvam, is Purusha, Paramritam. Now, how do I get to know Yetad Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam? Guhayam means in the innermost cave of my mind, within my heart, this knowledge should become very clear. Yetad Yo Veda Nihitam Guhaya. I should be known. Once I know them, what? Sa avidya grantim vikiratihi soumya. Suddenly, that granthi, that knowledge of avidya kama karma is gone. How do I see it again? Mattaha parataram nanit. Purusha alone is this universe. And the Guru says, my dear student, if you know that Purusha who is seated in the cave of one's heart, and you're able to identify that as Vasudeva, then you cut the knots of ignorance, and then uh, you uh, you identify the whole world as none other than your own expanse. And this is another celebration again come from Mundaka and which is quoted in so many other places like Drisha Viveka at the climax of one's understanding. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. The knot of my heart is gone. Chindante Sarva Samshaya. All my doubts are cleared. Kshiyante Cha Asya Karmani. With spiritual knowledge, all my Sanchita karma and all the other karma other than Prarabdha karma is gone. Tasmin Vrishte Paravare. Then I have the vision of Jnanam Sa Vijnanam. The concluding verses are most beautiful. The opening speaker today will be Shri Venkatesh Prasad, will explain verses 26, another very beautiful verse. Shri Venkatesh Prasad.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. In the previous verse, Krishna said the whole world, that is the entire humanity, is deluded by Maya. He has told before in Bhagavad Gita Shloka 7.14, Daivi Hyesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. It is very difficult to cross over this Maya, as Sir said a few minutes before. Now, the question is, if Maya is deluding everyone, will it not delude the Lord also? Because after all, Lord is intimately associated with Maya, the Apara Prakriti. If there is a book in between, because of the book, your vision is obstructed and you cannot see. The same thing holds good for me also, isn't it? Because of the very book, I will also not be able to see you. Will not Maya cover the Lord? Will be the question. Krishna says that it is not the case. I am the master of Maya, whereas you are the slave of Maya. That is the difference. Even though Maya is closest to me, I am the controller, whereas you are deluded by Maya. Swami Chinmayananda gives a beautiful example. A father was taking the child on the road. Then a person was coming in the opposite direction and a policeman was holding him. The boy asked his father, "What is this?" Then the father told, "This person is a thief. That is why a policeman is nearby taking him to the prison." As they proceeded further, another person was coming with two policemen. Then the child asked, "Who is he?" Father said, "He's a bigger thief, and therefore there are two policemen so that he will not run." Then the child inferred that more the number of policemen around, bigger the thief. After some walking, the father and son saw the president coming, surrounded by too many policemen. Then the child said, "Daddy, Daddy, biggest thief of the country is going." The father had to tell, "Thief is also surrounded by police. The president is also surrounded by the police. But the difference is one is the controlled and the other is the controller." President is the controller of the policeman, whereas the thief is controlled by the police. Similarly, Maya is around me. Maya is around God also. God is the controller of Maya. Why? Because he is God. And I am controlled by Maya. That is why I am called Jiva. With this background, let's move on to verse 7.26, which reads as under. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. I know all the beings belonging to the past, present, and future, but no one knows me, O Arjuna. Krishna says, Aham Veda. I know I do not have the problem of ignorance. I know both Paraprakriti as well as the Aparaprakriti in its entirety. So Vedaham, Bhutani, all the beings, the entire creation I know thoroughly. I do not have the limitation caused by Maya. Samatitani means the past, Vartamanani means the present, and Bhavishyani means the future. All the three words are adjectives of Bhutani. Shankara sums it up in the Bhashyam as we see in the next slide. Aham tu Veda jane samatitani samatikrantani bhutani vartamanani cha Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani Veda aham. In short, the entire creation I know. I do not have the problem caused by Maya, whereas kaschana mam na Veda, whereas the Jiva does not know me, especially my Paraprakriti. Kaschana here refers to Jiva. Jivaha Mayaya Avrutaha San Naveda. Let's move on to the next slide. Shankara Bhashya elaborates this as Mam tu Veda na kaschana madbhaktam madcharanam ekamuktva mattattva vedena abhavat eva na mam bhajate. Here Shankara gives an exception. Mam tu Veda na kaschana madbhaktam mukta. None of the jivas know me except Nishkama Bhakta. So Madbhakta means Nishkama Bhakta. Who is Nishkama Bhakta? Madcharanam, who has done Sharanagati to me, who is Jignasu Bhakta. Jignasu Bhakta will go to a guru. Tat Vijnanartam Saha Gurum Eva Abhigachet, Mundakopanishad 1.2.12. And the guru, through the Mahavakya Upadesha, removes the Avarana Shakti and elevates Jignasu Bhakta into a Gnani Bhakta. The Gnani Bhakta knows God. Aham Brahma Asmi iti. Mattattva Veda na abhavat. All the other Sakama Bhaktas do not have this knowledge and hence eva na mam bhajate. Do not worship me like Jignasu Bhaktas or Gnani Bhaktas. They continue to be stuck in samsara. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. This chapter is the description on the Paraprakriti aspect and also how the Gnanis recognize this glory of the Lord through total devotion. People deluded by the modes of Prakriti do not recognize this supreme aspect. This is the essence of this verse. Ichadvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Because of delusion in the form of pair of opposites, such as pleasure and pain, that are born out of desire and aversion, all living beings in the world are falling prey to infatuation. Next slide, sir. Sarve dehotpatte sarvabhutani ichha dvesha sambhutena moodhatvam bhavati. Right from the time of their birth, human beings have missed out on the happiness due to pair of dualities. Yada sthula dehasya utpattihi bhavati tada vishayeshu ragadvesha sambhavati. As and when the physical body is born, dualities also arise. Tenacha shitoshna sukha dukkhadi dvandvat jatena viveka nashena aham sukhi aham dukhi iti sarvepi praninaha moham apanna mam na janante. Because of the pair of opposites, dualities, they think I'm happy, I'm not happy, and they do not know my true nature. Next slide, sir. King Jadabharata's story from the Bhagavatam is an illustration for deep attraction. His immense attachment to the deer made him be absorbed in the thought of the deer all the time, and upon his death, he was reborn as a deer. Next slide. Shankaracharya's famous Bhajagovindam also indicates, right from the birth, through various stages of life, people have no time to seek self-knowledge. Balastavat kridasaktaha, tarunastavat tarnisaktaha, vruddhastavat chintasaktaha, parame brahmani kopina saktaha. Childhood is lost by attachment to playful things. Youth is lost by attachment to woman. Old age passes away in worries, and there is hardly anyone who wants to be lost in Parabrahman. Jivas, in search of peace, security, and happiness outside, due to which the world seems divided into source of joy, source of sorrow. But the world is neither the cause of happiness nor the sorrow. As per Vedanta, happiness is the knowledge of one's own self, and ignorance of this knowledge is the sorrow leading to samsara. Next slide, sir. There are two obstacles for gaining the knowledge of Nirguna Brahma. Samanya Pratibandha, that is Avarana Shakti of Maya, concealment of the discriminative power of one's mind, and Vishesha Pratibandha, Raga, Dvesha, and Moha, which are the main reasons for samsara. Swamiji calls it AADD, aversion, attraction, dualistic, delusion. The Dvanda, pair of Raga, Dvesha alone, appearing as heat and cold, are capable of generating Sukha, Dukkha. Regular appearing of these Raga, Dvesha generates Moha in the mind, which is an obstacle for rise of knowledge. Raga, Dvesha are non-variable for samsara. But what is variable is the Sukha, Dukkha, which is different for different people. It varies with the Svabhava of Jivas. People follow tendencies of their own Svabhava. Now we'll see the emphasis in Shankara Bhashya. Next slide, sir. अतः केन इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहितानि सन्ति. सम्मोहं तु सर्गे जन्मनि उत्पत्ति काले इति yanti gachanti. This raga dvesha problem is because of yoga maya, samanya karanam and vishesha karanam. Hey Bharata, all living beings are deluded utpatti kale because jiva is anadi, maya is anadi, and moha is also anadi. Sarge means time of birth. If everyone has this delusion, then it's a sort of relief. I'm not different from others. Like when the power goes off in your home, you inquire with your neighbors and come to know that they also have no power. It's a feeling of relaxation. Thank God, it's not only in my house. Next slide, sir. Condition of the mind under the grip of Maya is explained in this slide. Nahi ichha dvesha dosha vashikrita. That means for a deluded person whose mind is under the grip of raga dvesha, chittasya yatha bhutartha vishayagnanam na utpadyate. Just as how the worldly knowledge cannot arise from him, pratyagatmani bahu pratibandhe gnanam na utpadyate. Atma gnanam is also not possible. Next slide, sir. Due to avarana shakti of Maya, they do not recognize me. Yataha evam ataha tena dvandva mohena pratibadda pragnanani raga dvesha keeps the mind stuck in ahankara and mamakara. Their discriminative power is totally obstructed. Sarva bhutani sammohitani. All human beings are deluded. Therefore, they do not know mam atma bhutam ishvaraha iti na jananti. They do not know they are that. Aham brahmasmi iti. So, atma bhavena advaita bhavena mam na jananti. They do not appreciate the glory of the Lord as their own glory. Next slide, sir. Shankaracharya further adds a special note here. Mohavashani eva sarvabhutani jayamanani jayante iti abhiprayaha. Even as all living beings, as they are born, are under the grip of Maya because of raga, dvesha, and moha, people cannot practice nishkama bhakti. Why? Because generally, grihasthas, due to attachment to family, are busy involved in sakama bhakti, seeking prayers for welfare of the family, possession, occupation, etc. Their discriminative power is obstructed and they are not interested in Atmagnana. They do not make an effort to move from materialistic motive to spiritual motive. So they remain as Artha or Artharthi Bhaktas and do not graduate to Jignasu or Gnani Bhaktas. In conclusion, as Krishna says, Prakate kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. In fact, all the actions are being performed by the modes of Prakati, but the deluded minds think, I am the doer, I am happy, I am not happy, etc. They do not understand the significance of Vedanta. Only those who surrender to me will be able to cross over this Maya. as proclaimed in Bhaja Govindam, Nirmohatvam Nischalatatvam, only through total surrender unto the supreme reality with devotion and one's virtuous deeds will the sins come to an end and there is freedom from delusion. So Krishna says in the next verse, Bhajante Mam Dhridavrata, worship me with a firm resolve in every way. Hari Om.
Yeah, this verse number 28. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva mohena nirmuktaha bhajante mam drudavrataha. So this is a continuation of the previous verse. In the previous verse, it has been told that people are deluded by the delusion of duality. So what to do for that? So here in this verse, the Lord Bhagavan is providing us the solution for the previous verse. So here basically the Bhagavad Gita is all about delusion, moham, because Arjuna got deluded by their uncles and teachers and all. So at the end of the teaching, Arjuna says, Nasto mohaha. So I lost the moham. So here, so the concentration is more on moham here. So that's what so because all the people by birth itself are deluded by the dualities of life. So what to do now? So in this verse is providing the answer for that. Yesham, in the first line, let us see the meaning of the first line. Yesham means whoever. Tvantagatam. Tvantagatam word can be split into 2 plus anta plus gatam. 2 means on the other hand. On the other hand means the previous verse, the Lord has said that all the people are getting deluded. On the other hand, a few are not deluded. So that's the meaning of 2 here. Anta gatam, anta plus gatam. Gatam means going. Anta means ending. So who have ended their papam. Papam means sin. So here, those people who have ended, on the other hand, those people who have ended their sins. Here, we should remember that sin doesn't mean papa karma. Karma is different, sin is different here. So whenever a deed, a karma is done, it will be either punya karma or papa karma. Punya karma will lead to punya karma phalam and papa karma will lead to papa karma phalam. At the same time, karmas also lead to what are called as vasanas. These get attached to the inner consciousness or inner atma and they act as samskaras. So here in this verse, the papam is referred to that inner samskaras. So whenever we do a papam, we get papa phalam. We can't escape from that. But whenever we do a papam, there is a papa samskara also. So these samskaras can be erased by doing punya karmas, like a disc. Whenever, like a previous gramophone records, the old song can be removed and the new song can be written on that old gramophone records. In the same way, our mind or our atma gets attached to these sins. So in this verse, we should see in that angle, not as by papa karmas can be erased by doing punya karmas. So papa karma phalam is different, punya karma phalam is different. But papa karma vasanas can be erased by punya karma vasanas. So that's what he's telling. Jananam punya karmanam. So we can erase our papa karma vasanas by doing punya karmas. So this is the biggest teachings of this verse or of this Gita. So what to do when we have a lot of samskaras in our mind, we have a lot of delusions in our mind. We like something, we don't like something, we hate something. So many we have hatred. So all movements of the mind, likes, dislikes, hatred, whatever, all these things. When with all these samskaras in our mind, what we have to do is do punya karmas. That's the solution. Punya karma. What is meant by punya karmas means again. Any all sattva gunas come under punya karma also, like danam, dharmam, karuna, japam, tapam, tirtha yatra, all these things come under punya karma only. So that is the first line. Next line, sir. Next slide. that means those people, dvandva moha nirmuktaha, that is free from the attachment of dualities, bhajante mam, that is worship me or meditate me, drudhavrataha, that is with firm mind. So those people who have eliminated their papa karma vasanas by doing punya karmas, those people get freed from the attachment of the dualities. So only then people can worship or meditate on me with a firm mind. So this is the meaning of this verse. So now the question is, what are the samskaras which I am having personally? So we should know those things. How to know what are the samskaras which I have? What are the vasanas which I have, which are preventing me from meditating on the Lord with a firm mind? Because what happens is, papa karmas will make the mind bahirmukam. It will pull the mind out automatically. There is no need for any rope or anything. Papa karmas, if we have done in this life on the previous lives, so people will be, it's a common doubt which people have, that I am not able to do meditation, I am not able to sit. If I sit in meditation, my mind is roaming here and there. So the reason for that is his or my own papa karmas is pulling the mind out. And because I have to face the papa karma phalam, that's the reason why the papa karma phalam, the mind becomes bahirmukam. It is unable to become antarmukam. So how do we know what are the samskaras which I personally have? That is our question. So generally, for example, we should understand what is meant by samskaras. Samskaras means, I will give one example. If I like sweets, so at the time of eating a sweet, if I relish that sweet, like I say, oh, this is one of the best sweet I have eaten in my life. I have never tasted like this. So what we are doing is we are adding emotion to that act. Eating sweet is a karma. Karma tat jadam. That's what karma actually does not have any effect. It is actually jadam. But when we are adding emotion to that act, this, oh, this is so nice. I am so excited. I don't like this. I hate that. I felt very bad. These are all the emotions which we are going to add when we are doing some works. So these things get converted into a form of vasanas, and they go deep inside the consciousness, and that consciousness or the atma is uh, pariveshtinchi, means it all around it gets, and avarana shakti and akshepa shakti and all these things come to that. So these things, these samskaras. So for example, I have eaten some sweet some time back. It's not a problem if I remember that, but if I want it again, if I want to eat the same sweet again, if I have that craving for that, or if I don't like somebody, so that means this vasana is there inside us. This is how we can identify and try to eliminate the samskaras. So if I remember something and if I crave for it, it is liking or disliking. Or somebody, for example, one of the biggest weaknesses which we people have nowadays is inability to bear insults, inability to bear difficulties. Somebody calls us and gives a memento or a sanmanam, we are very happy about it. We may not get very much excited, but if somebody insults us, scolds us without any mistake of ours, which we think that I did not do any mistake, but somebody insulted me and I am helpless. So my senior in the office or my teacher or some senior who I am helpless here, but I did not do any wrong, but still he insulted me. This is a common thing which we all people have. So inability to bear insults is the biggest weaknesses of today's generations. So we have to compare what Dharmaraja did and what Rama did. The biggest insult ever happened to Dharmaraja in the hall when Draupadi was disrobed. But still he excused Duryodhana. He did not have any personal vengeance against them. He fought the war just because he has to fight the war. In the same way, any personal insults, personal difficulties has to be forgiven. We should not tell that I did not do any wrong. If we tell we have not done anything wrong, and still we got the insult, that means we are not accepting the Lord's quality of Sarva Samarthata. The Lord has a quality of He is capable of doing perfectly any job. So if we say that I got this insult. Without any mistake, that is not correct. We have done something wrong sometime in this life or the previous life. So that karma has come to us. So in this way, we should try to identify our own samskaras, what are there in our mind, and try to eliminate first these things. Without eliminating our antashatrus, that is the Arishad Vargas, we should not go high. Because if we go high, we know what happened to Nahush Chakravarti. He was given the Indra Padavi, but then he did not get Indra Padavi based on his jnanam or vairagyam, because he did 100 yagas, 100 Ashwamedha yagas, so he was eligible for Indra Padavi. But but again he fallen down from Indra Padavi up to, and he became like a snake, because he said Sarpa Sarpa to Agastya Maharshi, and Agastya Maharshi gave the curse to become snake, and he fell down from there. So first thing a sadhak has to do is identify what are the antashatrus for him, what are the samskaras for him, which he has acquired in his previous lives or in the life till now. And then the rest in the life ahead should be spent without adding any new samskaras. So there are two things we have to be clear here. Delete the old samskaras and do not add new samskaras. So in brief, do not add any emotion to the life. That doesn't mean, again, somebody is insulting you, I should forgive. But somebody is insulting somebody else in front of me. That is, we should not excuse that. We cannot excuse harm done to somebody else. There, harm done to oneself should be excused. That is the quality of a Brahmin, true Brahmin. Harm done to others in front of us, say somebody is harassing a woman in front of us, one should act like a Kshatriya and go, even Swadharmo Nidanam Shreyaha. That's what we say. Even if you die in that, it's okay. So this is how we should identify our antashatrus and then go ahead in the sadhanas. Thank you, sir.
Jai Gurudev. Let us chant 29th verse. Jara marana mokshaya mamashritya yatanti te brahma tatviduhu krusnam adhyatmam karma chakilam. Meaning, having resorted to me, those who strive for freedom from decay and death come to know that Brahman completely, the self completely, and the karma completely. Next slide, sir. We have seen in the earlier verses from 20 to 26, Sakama Bhaktas or Apara Bhakti, worshipping the Lord with form for Dharma Artha Kama or Apara Prakriti for one's worldly needs. Maybe it can be for money, name, fame, status, position, and relations, whose nature are subject to arrival and departure due to Avarna Shakti of Maya. In Kathopanishad language, it's called Preya. Today we are seeing verses from 27 to 30, Nishkama Bhaktas or Parabhakti, which is the worship of formless Ishvara or Paraprakriti by Jnani Bhaktas for inner spiritual growth, which is called Shreya in Kathopanishad. If one desire moksha, freedom from the most prominent, frightening problems like Jara Marana, old age and death, ye yatanti, those people work for that immortality, desiring freedom, like Mama Ashritya, like take shelter in the knowledge of both form and formless God, seeking Lord's grace. There are some people who want to go beyond Kala, which is like old age and death, Jara Marana, which represents time. Going beyond time is going beyond matter. Matter and time are inseparable. Going beyond Apara Prakriti is going to Para Prakriti. The Viduhu, such devotees certainly discover the Para Prakriti, which is immortality, which is the real source of security, peace, and happiness. Such Nishkama Bhaktas will ultimately discover the Lord in his totality, in both Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti. They will completely understand both Saguna and Nirguna forms of Lord. Krishna says Sakama Bhakti, worship of Lord with form, Saguna Rupa, is the only means to arrive to Nishkama Bhakti. Sakama Bhakti is incomplete without coming to Nishkama Bhakti. Nirguna form of Lord. This is the secret Krishna wants to convey. Conclusion. Having resorted to Lord, those who strive for freedom from decay and death come to know that Brahma completely, and they entirely know everything about his transcendental activities of karma. Jai Gurudev.
Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The 30th verse of the 7th chapter, which is also the last verse. Let us chant together. Sadhi bhutadi daivam mam sadhi yajnam cha ye viduhu prayana kale pichama te viduryukta chatasaha. Next slide. Let's look at the word meaning. Te yukta chetasaha. Those with the disciplined mind. Ye viduhu. Who know. Mam. Me. Sadhi bhutadi daivam. Along with adibhuta and adidaiva. Cha sadhi yajnam and adiyajna. Viduhu mam. Will remember me. Prayana kale apicha. At the time of death also. So the whole verse meaning is those with disciplined mind who know me along with Adibhuta, Adidaiva and Adhiyagna will remember me at the time of death also. So next slide, sir. Not only will they know these three factors, they will also know three more factors. So what are they? Adibhutam, Adidaivam, Adiyagnyam. And totally there are 6 factors. What are the other 3? Brahma, Karma, and Adhyatman. All these 6 factors are a mixture of Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti. And a wise person will remember these 6 factors at the time of death also. Next. So there is a natural question here in Arjuna's mind. He is in the battlefield, right? So he's thinking, why will Krishna talk about this, about death, when actually he's living and he's fighting? So there are 2 parts of this question. Is there any significance in Ishvara Smaranam at the time of death? The second question is, how can one remember God at the time of death? Generally, one may remember the unfulfilled wishes, like, this is yet to happen to my child, or I have this transaction pending, I have this house which is being built, etc. So this is a seed verse. This is the ending of this chapter. So this is an introduction to the next chapter. And the next chapter deals with 7 questions. That is, what is Brahma, what is Karma, Adibhutam, Adidaivam, Adiyagnyam. So all these are Adibhutam means existing in the physical form, existing in the divine plane. Is Adidaivam, Adiyagnyam is existing in the context of sacrifice. So all these we will learn in detail, and how to remember God at the time of death. So here Krishna says, Prayana kale api. Prayanam actually means travel, but here it means death. Yukta Chetasa, the devotee, that is the Nishkama Bhaktas, with the disciplined mind, remember God at the time of death. So, with this, Krishna concludes the topic of Sakama Bhakti and Nishkama Bhakti. In this way, the 7th chapter ends. Let us chant together. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Jnana Vijnana Yogo Namaha Saptamodhyayaha. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Saumya, and all our other speakers, Srimati Nilima, Dr. Srinivas Nuti, Srimati Sukanya ma'am, Sri Venkatesh Prasad sir, and of course, our dear teacher, Timappa Hegde sir, for this detailed and invigorating explanations of these beautiful verses. We come to the end of another beautiful chapter. And with that, with each class, we are understanding more and more about the depths of the Bhagavad Gita. And thank you, dear viewers, for joining us every class. Friends, we are immensely grateful to you for offering your generous contributions on the occasion of Guru Purnima. The entire offering collected will reach our gurus and the details shared with you. The window is still open to those of you who would like to make an offering. Please note, we request you to kindly fill the Google form. This is very important for us to account in our books and issue you a receipt. The form has been shared in all the WhatsApp groups and on Telegram. Thank you for your continued support. With this, we come to the end of today's class. Please join us for the 11th session of the Mandukya Upanishad with Karika at 6:45 p.m. on this coming Friday, the 2nd of August. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you.